Welcome, everyone, to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. I'm your host, Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, Why I Love Annuities, part one of our series on annuities and retirement with nationally recognized annuity expert, Stan The Annuity Man. Welcome to the show, Stan.
Great to be here. Let's just move it to what's important, which is my logo.
And your books.
And my books.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com, there's 7 of them. There's a Annuity Manifesto, which is kind of a broad overview, and then there's 6 owner's manuals on specific products.
Before you got into this business, were you an author? Did you like writing?
No, this is therapy. I mean, this is cheaper than therapy. For me, I just get it out. It's cathartic for me to write, and I write for the consumer. Agents do benefit from it, but I do write for the consumer because they need to know the truth about these products, the benefits, the limitations, the good, the bad, the upside, the downside. But they need to know how they work because they're investing in contracts. Annuities are contracts.
Easy to read?
Very easy to read.
So consumers should have no problem getting through it.
It's me talking without the cuss words. It's me writing without the cuss words. That's what my wife says. Anyway.
So you don't have Tourette's episode. You're just having a profanity moment.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Stan, you've been on Wall Street Journal. You've been Market Watch, USA Today, Barron's, the New York Times, CNBC, Fox Business.
All over the place.
I mean, you're on the media.
Global, baby.
And you're known in the United States as the #1 authority on annuities. So nobody disputes your throne. You have it. I want to know why the ads in the papers, and I see them on USA Today, Wall Street Journal, they're burning serious time. Certain people are out on the market saying they hate annuities. Why is this so prevalent?
It's an easy sell. You're selling on fear. It's like selling, hey, I hate all restaurants, or I hate all trucks. You can't say that. Annuities, there are different types. There's multiple types of annuities. So to say I hate all annuities, that's crazy. Do you hate Social Security? Of course not. Do you hate your pension? Of course not. So when people say that, there's a story behind it. They're trying to raise money for their platform. They don't understand it. And the annuity industry needs to do a better job just educating the public on how these products work. And they're specific products. They're not all the same. Annuities are not all the same.
I was looking at specimen products. Not something I want to do unless I'm an insomnia problem. But I noticed that thousands of annuities by thousands of carriers. There are some that you and I have looked at. We don't like those either.
Absolutely. There's a lot of restaurants we wouldn't eat at either,
exactly.
Right? It's the same thing. You know, people need to look at the carrier, need to look at the contractual guarantees and see if those contractual guarantees match their specific goals. It's really that simple. In my opinion, annuities are commodity products. You should shop all carriers.
Okay, so you keep using the phrase contractual guarantees, the imperatives that are written inside the contract. But I noticed that most of the proposals, most of the illustrations that I see are at current company practice. Give us a little yin and yang. What's the difference here?
Well, let me talk to the consumer real quick. Do not allow anyone to do a hypothetical, theoretical, back-tested, projected, potential unicorns chasing the butterflies return scenario. Anyone can use those numbers. Steve, you buy contractual guarantees. You own an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. And the will do is the contractual guarantees. So you base your decision there. That's what sets me apart from most agents. Most agents are going to say, well, if we looked at back-tested numbers, you owned it 10 years ago. That's just complete garbage. And in fact, I don't think that should be allowed in the industry. I think you should base your decision on the contract because guess what? That's what you're buying. Annuities are not investments. They're contracts.
Now, there's a lot of unfavorable views on annuities in the public's mind, but I think it's all misinformation, propaganda coming from other places that actually, not only do they not sell annuities, but it's not in their best interest to sell it. And to me, that's a conflict of interest.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you take Fidelity and Vanguard, great mutual fund companies, but buying an annuity from Fidelity and Vanguard is like going to the grocery store and buying an annuity and buying your food in the ethnic food section. They got 5 to 7 carriers. There's hundreds of carriers. You got to shop all companies. And for, if someone is coming to you and they're saying, hey, I've got the best annuity, this is the one annuity that fits you. No, they have the best annuity for themselves. Force that agent to show you 3 to 5 carriers that solve for that specific contractual guarantee. And, if it's an income later type product, show income riders and deferred income annuities. Make them show both. Make that agent work. You are a major annuity expert, but you're also an annuity person. You're in the public. You're helping people. You sell it. I sell it. I'm licensed in all 50 states. I'm the gorilla out there. Absolutely.
And you're looking at, you're not looking at 1 or 2 carriers. You're looking at the whole field.
All of them. All of them.
How much does that change, would you say? Does it change from month to month, the quarterly?
It does change. And that's the reason. Some carriers, kind of like when you drive down the road, you see a bank that has a CD at a certain level, and the same exact CD at a bank across the road is lower. carriers attract money just like banks attract money. So some months a carrier will be high, and the next month they might be low because they're not trying to attract that money. That's the reason you can't have an agent show you one carrier. Have them show you all the carriers.
How, if you're going to talk to our consumer right now and say, here's how you vet a guy that's showing you annuities. How do I know he's showing me a good one or a good three? How do I know that as a consumer?
That's a good question. I'm not sure there's a way to do that. I think you would ask that agent, you say, how many annuities how many annuity carriers do you represent? What do you represent over 30 or 40 or 10 or 5 or do you just like the one? There's no way that an agent can go out there and say, I just like this one annuity, Steve. I really have, I've looked at them all. This one's great. That's crazy.
And probably untrue. Most agents don't have the time to look at everything, and you have a full staff. You look at every single contract.
Absolutely. We look at every single one.
So I like the objectivity. I like the agnostic approach. I like that you're actually consumer-centric in all your approaches to selling annuities.
Well, people always ask me, they say, Stan, here's what I want to do. Who do you think the carrier is going to be? Who's going to win? I'm like, I have no clue. I have zero clue going in. We quote it based upon your dates of birth and the specifics you give us. And then I'll tell you, I'll send you the list of, 5 to 10 carriers across the board that had the highest contractual guarantee. And that's really what sets us apart. The Department of Labor is kind of forcing us to go in this direction, which is to show all choices. Well, I've been doing that for 10 years, which is, that's the way I believe you should own them. The will do not might do is on the back of my t-shirt because I believe in that. That's the way that the annuity should do it.
Well, now you're in a substantial legal authority, not only in the specimen contracts and how these contracts actually work, but if you could be king of annuity for the whole nation, how would you run the show?
Very, very simple. People will remember the Got Milk ad. Remember the Got Milk ad? The guy had the milk. Got guarantees. Annuities t-shirt. I got one on my website. Got guarantees. It's all about the guarantees. Do you have guarantees? Do you want to transfer that risk for lifetime income? Do you want to transfer that risk for principal protection? Do you want to transfer that risk for long-term care or confinement care? Okay, that's what annuities do. So for me, annuities are for the day. We'd run ads over and over and over. Got guarantees. Why? Is because annuities are unique. The unique benefit proposition of annuities is that you transfer the risk. You transfer the risk to the carrier to pay for the rest of your life. There's not a product on the planet except annuities that do that. Why as an industry we don't pound that away? I have no clue. But I'm going to do that.
Let me ask you, because you just said something I'm wondering if our audience really understands. We're consumers. They watch our show. I get email. We're talking about taking risk off the table with a guaranteed contractual payout for the rest of my life, in some cases, the rest of my life. When you're looking at that, tell me why, because a lot of people don't have annuities, so they actually have risk exposure.
Absolutely. And annuities, when you look at annuities, look at it like this. How much risk am I willing to shoulder? How much risk am I willing to transfer? There's no ages. People say, was it 85 or 60? No, it's about you. It's about what you feel comfortable with. So I tell people with annuities, what you should primarily use them for is what I call income gap filling. You have Social Security. If you have a pension, fortunate enough to have one, what's that gap you need filled? That's where the annuity fits, right there. It fits where that income gap is that's going to pay you for the rest of your life. And the annuity company, the benefit proposition, Steve, is the annuity company is on the hook to pay regardless of how long you live. Even if there's zero in that account, they're on the hook to pay. So people always say, well, Stan, what's the return on investment on a lifetime income annuity? I don't know, but I'm going to tell your beneficiaries at your funeral. There's no ROI until you die.
You look at the contract is only as good. You're talking about contractual guarantees. It's only as good as the company behind it.
Right.
So I noticed that you really watch the Convex rating, which is actually a combination of 4 different due diligence rating services. Right. You look at that and you're making judgment calls because the contract is only subordinated by the good carrier behind it.
Correct. I mean, Comdex is a compilation of AM Best, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch, which are the rating services, and then they do an easy to understand 1 to 100 score, and that's on my site. You can go to my site, StanTheAnnuityMan.com, and pull that up for free, download it, and look at it. We update it every month. But from that, we also look at solvency ratio, bond holdings, et cetera, because the annuity that you buy is only as good as the company backing them up. And it is actually illegal in most states to use the state guarantee fund as part of the selling process. So, we don't even look at that. We look at the claims paying ability of that carrier when you make your decision.
Well, don't forget to watch What Annuities Will Do, part 2 of our series on annuities in retirement. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, financial advisor, or just call Stan the Annuity Man direct. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.